An unknown number texted me. Your wife is at the Riverside Motel, room 14. So I invited both our families to meet me there. The message. The text arrived at 9:17 p.m. Unknown number. No greeting. No explanation. Just one sentence. Your wife is at the Riverside Motel, room 14. I stared at the screen for a long time. Long enough for the room around me to feel unfamiliar. The living room clock ticked loudly on the wall. Too loudly. Emma had left an hour earlier. Dinner with Claire, she said. Casual, easy, routine. She kissed my cheek on the way out. I remember the perfume. Vanilla. Warm. Familiar. Now the scent lingered in the house like evidence. My thumb hovered over the phone. I read the message again. Room 14. The Riverside Motel sat on the edge of town. Cheap neon lights. Tired curtains. Rooms rented by the hour. Not the kind of place you accidentally end up. My chest tightened. But strangely, I didn't panic. I didn't call her. Didn't text back. Didn't rush out the door like a jealous husband chasing ghosts. Instead, I leaned back in my chair. Quiet, still. Thinking, because betrayal doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers first, and whispers require patience. I opened my contacts. First call, my father. Dad, I said calmly. I need you and Mom to meet me somewhere tonight. Pause. Is everything all right? I watched the message glowing on my screen. Room 14. No, I said quietly. Then I made another call. Emma's parents. Could you come to the Riverside Motel? I asked. Silence. Confusion. Questions. I gave them none. Room 14, I said. Then I hung up. Finally, I stood up and grabbed my keys. My heart was beating slowly. Deliberately, like it already knew the truth. The first crack. The drive to the motel took 12 minutes. 12 very quiet minutes. The highway lights slid across the windshield like passing thoughts. Emma's laugh echoed in my memory. Her hand in mine. The promises we made 5 years ago. Marriage is strange. You build a life with someone, brick by brick, routine by routine, until one day, you realize the walls were hollow. The Riverside Motel sign flickered in the distance. Red neon, buzzing softly. I parked across the street. Engine off, lights off. Room 14 was on the second floor. The curtain was drawn, but light leaked through the edges. My phone vibrated again. Another message from the same unknown number. Don't knock yet. I frowned. Wait. That was all. I leaned back in my seat. Something cold moved through my chest. Because suddenly, the past few months made sense. Emma working late. Emma smiling at her phone. Emma guarding it like a secret. I had noticed. Of course I had. But love makes you generous with your ignorance. You ignore the strange details, the sudden distance, the quiet tension, because believing the worst feels disloyal. My phone buzzed again. This time it was my father. We're here, he said. I looked across the parking lot. His car pulled in slowly. Then another. Emma's parents. Confused faces stepped out of both vehicles. They looked at me like I had lost my mind. Why are we at a motel? Her mother asked. I didn't answer. I just pointed upward. Room 14. My father followed my gaze. What's going on? I took a slow breath. Then I said the words. Emma is inside. Silence fell like a dropped glass. Her father blinked. That's impossible. I nodded toward the glowing curtain. Let's find out. The quiet investigation. The hallway outside room 14 smelled like old carpet and cheap detergent. 4 parents stood behind me. Confused? Uneasy. The kind of tension that makes people whisper even when no one asks them to. Emma's mother grabbed my arm. Why would she be here? I didn't answer. Because the truth was, this wasn't the first time something felt wrong. 3 months ago, Emma started taking her phone everywhere. Even the shower. 2 months ago, she began working late on Thursdays. Always Thursdays. Last month, she changed her phone password. A small thing, but small things create shadows. So I started watching, quietly. I checked phone records. Unknown numbers appearing repeatedly. Short calls. Late at night. Then disappearing. Deleted. I noticed the new dresses. The subtle perfume changes. The distant smile. But suspicion without proof is just paranoia. So I stayed silent. I waited. Then tonight, the message arrived. Room 14. A gift from a stranger. Or a trap. But either way, the truth was finally close enough to touch. My father stepped beside me. You're sure? He whispered. I looked at the door, light still glowing beneath it. Soft movement inside. "I'm sure enough." Emma's father knocked. Once. Firm. Inside the room, something moved quickly. Footsteps. A muffled voice. Then silence. The door opened a few inches. Emma stood there, and for one brief second, her face forgot how to lie. Shock. Pure, unfiltered. Then she saw everyone behind me. Her parents. Mine. The hallway. The witnesses. And the color drained from her skin. The truth. The door opened wider. Slowly. Behind Emma, a man sat on the edge of the bed. Half-dressed. Frozen. I didn't recognize him. But that didn't matter. Emma's voice cracked. "What are you doing here?" I tilted my head slightly. "You tell me." Her parents pushed forward. Her mother gasped. Her father went rigid. The room suddenly felt very small. Very quiet. Emma looked at me desperately. "This isn't—" I raised a hand. She stopped speaking. Because something in my expression told her excuses were useless now. I stepped into the room. The man stood up quickly. Embarrassed. Ashamed. Or maybe just terrified. I placed my phone on the small motel table. Screen facing them. The message still visible. "Your wife is at the Riverside Motel, room 14. Emma stared at it. Then at me. Her lips trembled. "You brought them?" "Yes." Her breathing became uneven. "You set me up." I shook my head slowly. "No." I looked around the room. The bed, the scattered clothes, the guilty silence. "You did." The trap closes. Emma started crying. Soft at first. Then louder. But the tears didn't move me. Because betrayal changes how you hear someone. It turns pain into noise. Her father looked at the man. "Who are you?" The man swallowed hard. I didn't know she was married." Emma flinched. Another lie collapsing. I watched her carefully. Every twitch, every desperate calculation behind her eyes. She turned to me. "Please, we can talk about this." I smiled faintly. "We are." Her mother covered her mouth. Emma stepped closer. "Why would you humiliate me like this?" That question fascinated me. Humiliate. As if exposure were the crime, not the betrayal. I leaned against the table. Calm. Quiet, because the real revenge wasn't anger. It was control. "I wanted witnesses," I said. Emma blinked. "Witnesses?" I nodded toward the hallway. "And closure." Her face twisted in confusion. Then I pulled another envelope from my coat. Thin, white, divorce papers. I placed them on the table beside the phone. Her crying stopped instantly. "You already—" "Yes." The room fell silent again. Emma looked at the papers. Then at me. Like she was seeing a stranger. Maybe she was. Because the man she married would have begged, would have fought, would have forgiven. But that man had died the moment the text arrived. Walking away. No one spoke for a long time. Emma finally picked up the papers. Her hands were shaking. "You planned this." I shrugged. "No." I looked at the glowing motel lamp. At first, I was just curious. Then I met her eyes. But once I saw the room, I paused, letting the silence finish the sentence. Her father looked exhausted. Her mother looked broken. The man slipped quietly out the door. No one stopped him. Emma whispered, "You're really leaving?" I thought about the last 5 years. The house, the memories, the promises. Then I realized something strange. They already felt distant, like a life that belonged to someone else. "Yes," I said. I walked toward the door. Emma's voice cracked behind me. "Don't go like this." I stopped, just for a moment. Then I looked back at her. Calm, empty. "Emma," I said quietly. "You left first." Then I walked into the hallway, past our parents, past the neon lights, past the life that used to belong to me. And as the cold night air hit my face, I finally understood something simple. Betrayal doesn't destroy you. It clarifies everything. And sometimes, the cruelest revenge isn't anger. It's leaving without looking back.